Thank you, Mr. Chair. I realize that the questions I'm about to embark upon are more policy and that your job is executing policy, but I just want to get some of your thoughts. In your testimony on page 4, you said, since May 2019, Iran-supported groups of in Iraq have attacked U.S. interests dozens of times, conducted scores of unmanned aerial system reconnaissance flights. They have attacked and seized foreign vessels in the Gulf. You go on to list all the things Iran is doing. And I think you testified in response to Senator Hawley's question that they are not being deterred in the asymmetric area, in the proxy area. It's always been a proxy war. I mean, that's what it's always been. Here's my problem. In 2017, we left the JCPOA, which they were abiding by. All intelligence unequivocally said that Iran was in compliance with all the provisions of the JCPOA. We put on the maximum pressure campaign, but as you've testified, it doesn't seem to be working because they're still doing what they were doing before. The major difference today is, and I don't want to get into classified material, but Iran is significantly closer to breakout to a bomb than they were when we left the agreement in 2000, I think it was 2018. I don't get it. It's exactly what many of us were worried about before the JCPOA. You've got a malign Iran acting irresponsibly throughout the region, getting close to a nuclear weapon. Help me out here. I don't really understand it. They're still doing it, and we probably will find out that the attack last night was a Shia militia supported by Iran. I mean, I think that's probably where the evidence is going to head. I don't have any intelligence on that, but I'm speculating. Give me some thoughts.
Senator, so the maximum pressure campaign, I would, in terms of its effect on the Iranian economy, there are other people than me that
there's no question it's had an effect on the Iranian economy, but it hasn't had any effect on the activity we were hoping to deter. You've testified to that.
So I would argue, actually, as a result of the buildup in Iranian activity over the course of the summer, the establishment of the international maritime security construct, actually ships in the Straits of Hormuz are no longer harassed. They're passing without any problem at all back and forth, not because we're taking actions aimed directly at Iran, but rather because we in an international coalition are shining a spotlight when that activity occurs. So the activity is not occurring. So traffic is passing.
Interesting you mentioned the international coalition. I completely agree with you, which we blew up when we left the JCPOA. The international coalition that put that agreement in place didn't agree with our decision. We took it unilaterally, but that's another discussion. But again, do you believe that they're being deterred from their proxy attacks or throughout the region?
I believe that we're deterring them from state-on-state attacks.
But that's not the issue. We've never had it. It's not been a state-on-state situation. The attacks have always been through proxies.
Well, sir, actually, on January the 7th, we had a clear state-on-state attack.
After we killed Soleimani, correct? Well,
Yes,
that was the missile attack.
That's the missile attack.
Yeah, okay, but that was, we killed Soleimani, and then they responded. But historically, the attacks have always been through proxies, and my point is, they're still doing it. The only difference is they're also headed toward a nuclear weapon, and I don't get how that's in the best interest of the United States or the region.
Sir, I understand your argument. Many of those issues are not CENTCOM issues. I would tell you that I come back to what I think my military task is. As the maximum pressure campaign continues, my military task is to prevent Iran from taking actions directly or indirectly that would challenge the activities that are ongoing.
I appreciate that, and you're doing an excellent job, and it's a tragedy what happened yesterday and in the last week to our troops. I think everyone here recognizes that. Just in a few seconds left, is there a plan B if the Taliban doesn't abide by this agreement in Afghanistan? In other words, do they believe that we're going to leave come hell or high water, or do they still have some worry that we're going to stay there if they don't act right? Because as you testified, they're doing plenty of attacks right now. I worry that after 17, 18, 19 years, we're going to end up exactly where we were in 2001 with the Taliban in charge of the country and open season for terrorists.
Senator, I had the opportunity to give advice on the plan that we're executing now, and my advice was to proceed with it. And the principal reason that I supported it was the conditionality that's inherent in it. So we're going to have an opportunity to see what the Taliban do.
Do we
don't
know
have
what
to-
the conditions are?
Sir, on the military side, I know very clearly what the conditions
Do
would be.
we, does the American public know?
Sir, I'm not sure that I'd be the one to answer that.
All right. Well, thank you for your testimony. I appreciate it. And again, I understand your job is to execute policy, but you're the nearest thing we have to a policymaker on this issue here this morning, and I appreciate your candid answers to my question.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.